Joining us now is Nikhil Naz. Also, Nikhil, you were there yesterday, last night when the match was happening. You witnessed everything firsthand. The wait for the celebration to begin, the wait for people to go on the dais, and this constant game, this battle of wills that was executed. As I was telling Gaurav, one can understand the young players doing this, but a man who is in a position of power, whose responsibility is to ensure a smooth conduct of an event, actually behaving very childishly. And now he is tweeting and retweeting Prime Minister Modi's a congratulatory tweet, and he's saying that the war actually was won by Pakistan. So who's bringing cricket and war together?
Well, Anjali, I mean, if you look at that entire thing as it has panned out, as I witnessed it last night, you'd have to say that it is primarily down to one man's ego that has actually, ruined this entire tournament towards the end. It was Mohsin Naqvi who was hell bent on giving the trophy. Remember, the Indian team had made it very clear that they will not be receiving the trophy from the PCB head, and there is enough reason behind why is it that India took that call. If you remember, throughout this tournament, of course, the Indian team had refused to, very politely refused to shake hands with the Pakistan team. Of course, that background was there. Then you saw all those gestures made by the Pakistani players. And this is a team that is headed by Mohsin Naqvi. Remember, when they made those gestures on the eve of the game, Mohsin Naqvi had actually gone to the team's practice session and spoken to the team. So clearly, you cannot really ignore the fact that he was in constant touch with the team. So anything that may have happened on the field, must have been 100% aware of all of that happened. And that is something that wouldn't have escaped the Indian team. And then I think the last straw would have been the fact that Mohsin Naqvi himself put a tweet out where he was trying to mock. He put that football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration that he had done of jets going down. He had put that down, mocking, as you know, as Pakistan have been falsely claiming for a very long time that they had downed a few Indian jets, without getting into the merits of what had happened there. But clearly, these political references were being made there. Now, if you ask me whether I'm surprised with Mohsin Naqvi retweeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi's tweet and writing those things, and as you mentioned, those are, at best childish. Does it surprise me? It does not, because there is already a precedent there of him having done that earlier in the tournament. I think all of this could have been avoided. And I'm going to talk about it from sporting point of view. I think it's very unfortunate for a team that has won the trophy to be going back from here without the trophy. And that, I think, is the crux of the matter. Suryakumar Yadav, the Indian captain, came to the press conference yesterday and spoke about it as well. And they kept waiting for a good 40, 45 minutes. There were 8 other people on the dais at that time. Any one of them could have given the trophy. If you see what happened with the Pakistani players, they collected their medallions from the president of the Bangladesh Cricket Association. So clearly, this is something that could have been avoided. And what made matters worse, that after India refused to take the trophy from him, Mr. Naqvi has taken the trophy and the medallions back to his hotel room as if it is his personal property. Remember, he's just nominated as the head of the Asian Cricket Council. That too, he's not won any elections or anything. It actually happens by rotation. So he's sitting there because every country by rotation gets there. He's taken it back to his hotel room, as if it is his personal property. I'm sure the trophy eventually will land up at his rightful place, that is the BCCI headquarters. It'll happen in a day's time or maybe in a few days' time. And that will once again, bring a lot of embarrassment to Mohsin Naqvi, who probably by now would have gotten used to such embarrassing moments that we've seen throughout this tournament.
But Nikhil, one would argue that he was probably trying to lay a ground for the time when he returns to Pakistan, that listen, I have clutched this little victory in my hand and I'm coming back with that. But it seems the narrative has turned in Pakistan itself. There are people, on media, people are actually criticizing what he's done. And they're saying, you were there to win the match. You were there, the team was there to play cricket, not to do these stunts and this dramatic playbook that we saw.
Well, that's true, Anjali. In fact, I must tell you that I was there at the press conference held by the Pakistani captain, Salman Ali Agha, and he also had a lot of counter allegations where he said that, listen, because he was asked all these questions about the trophy presentation, so on and so forth. And then he said that, listen, who started it? It was the Indian team that didn't shake their hands. It was the Indian team that bought those references. The point of the matter is, eventually there was a question that was asked to him saying that, okay, you can keep rambling about all these things as to who started and what is it that Mohsin Naqvi has done, whether it's right or not. Of course, as a Pakistani captain, he was defending Mohsin Naqvi and the actions that he did yesterday. But the question was eventually asked to him. The fact of the matter is that India has beaten you 3 times in a row in one tournament itself. India has won its 9th Asia Cup title. Pakistan only have 2. And that is the moot point. I mean, they've tried various things. They've tried various tricks. Yesterday, during the game as well, I could hear on the stump mic various things being said. Indian players were put under pressure by telling them, this is not the IPL, you rich kids. This is not Mumbai. This is, where we will dominate. This is the area where we have always beaten you. So many things were being said. So they tried everything, not just in the book, but beyond that as well. But eventually, this is a tournament. Each team came here to win the tournament. And I think that reflects in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's tweet as well, that the fact of the matter is India played them thrice, beat them 3-0. If you take a look at the last 8 encounters between these two teams, it stands at 8-0. So as Suryakumar Yadav, I think, rightly said, that there is no rivalry, actually. You keep talking about it. India is so far ahead. And I must say, what I really liked about the Indian team is with the grace and dignity that the captain conducted himself in the press conference. Imagine, here's a captain who has been refused the right of holding the trophy, which he has rightfully earned and his team has earned. He comes to the press conference. He was all smiles. There were a few uncomfortable questions asked to him by the Pakistani media. And he said, no, don't get angry. In fact, he tried to pacify them down as well when they were, getting a bit agitated, remained calm, answered every possible question, and eventually said, and I think that was the line of the press conference where he eventually said that, listen, you don't give us the trophy, doesn't matter. When that name goes up on the big score, which says India Asia Cup champions, he said that itself is the trophy for me. My players are the trophy for me. My support staff who's really stood by us and everyone who supported us is the trophy for me.
Absolutely.